Muchas gracias, Jorge, y Juan también. Voy a hablar en inglés porque es más fácil para mí. Más quiero comenzar en español porque lo workshop es en español. Y quiero felicitar a ANFACO por la organización de este evento. Voy a cambiar para inglés. Good morning to all of you. It's a pleasure, and on behalf of the Seafood Tomorrow Consortium, I would like to welcome you to the second demonstration workshop. This one focused on Spanish stakeholders and the solutions that have been identified by ANFACO, particularly for the Spanish market. The Seafood Tomorrow Consortium has dealt with a lot of challenges in the last year. It's a 3.5 years project that have faced this pandemic, and even with this pandemic, we were able to validate a diversity of solutions that I'm sure that at the end of the day, you will see that will fit your purpose in terms of the industry. But before we start with the demonstrations, I would like to summarize the context of the project, why this project was created, and in what consists, because today you are going to see only a part of the solutions that were validated, but we have other solutions that I will speak about as well. Well, the project has started in a context where, as Juan has mentioned, it is expected an increase in the population and in economic growth as well in the future, and this will be a challenge in terms of demand of food that will double by 2050. As you all are all aware, seafood is the most important commodity that is consumed in Europe. But unfortunately, the majority of countries in Europe, they are not able to produce the amount of food that we eat. And therefore, we have to import almost 60% of what we eat in Europe in terms of seafood. But seafood is a very important food item. It's a high quality, balanced, healthy, and safe. But in some cases, for specific seafood, this seafood can harbor some contaminants, some that are regulated, but others that are not. And this is only due because of our daily activities. In our houses, in our work, we release contaminants to the environment through the wastewaters, and some of them can be related in some seafood. I talk about endocrine disruptors that you see in your shampoos, also personal care products that we use in our daily lives, the litter that we release from our wastes, from plastics, pharmaceuticals that we have to take every day, brominated flame retardants, and also perfluorinated compounds that we see in all the products that we have at our homes, and toxic metal speciation that we have in products in our industry, and toxins from harmful algal blooms that are also can also affect some of the seafood. But fortunately, in Europe, we have implemented monitoring schemes for the most risky contaminants in order to ensure the safety of our products. What we know also is that in Europe, we have a huge variability of seafood species that are produced and consumed. And also that for some consumers, particularly the majority of consumers in Europe, especially those that are more vulnerable, like children, pregnant women, and elderly people, they do not meet the dietary recommendations of eating two portions of fish per week. This is a problem because in this way the people are not getting the sufficient amount of essential nutrients we can find in seafood. Also, European consumers are worried about quality and safety and sustainability, but also in terms of authenticity of the products that they are eating, and also health-related claims. What exactly is included in the labels, if indeed this is true and can help to promote the health of consumers. Our seafood sector in Europe is quite complex and conservative, and the main supermarket chains and large retailers, they play a key role in influencing the markets and also consumer choices. And more recently, seafood has a transition. More and more we see in our supermarket shelves and in our markets farmed species. More than 50% of the products that we are consuming come from aquaculture. This is a reality. We have overexploited our oceans and we have reached the limit of exploitation. Therefore, the main source of seafood that we will find in the future is coming from aquaculture. But we need to be sure that in Europe, in all countries are implementing the monitoring strategies to anticipate hazards that can potentially appear in our food, and particularly in seafood. In all this context, and taking into account that there is a need to innovate, a need to develop sustainable methodologies, tools and products, the European Commission has launched a call in 2017, an innovation action, where Seafood Tomorrow was funded. It has received 7.5 million euros, and it started in November 2017, and it will end in April this year. It's a large consortium of 35 partners and 13 affiliated organizations, third parties, that come from 19 European countries. And as Juan was mentioning, the main objective of this project has been to strengthen seafood production and processing industry in Europe by providing validated, market-driven and consumer-responsive, eco-innovative, sustainable solutions for these two sectors of seafood. And that these tools must contribute to food security, to mitigate hazards, to contribute to employment, and also to increase the consumer awareness about seafood quality and safety. You have on the right side a diagram of the diversity of solutions that we have validated in the project, and I will focus more in detail each one of them. In the production part, we have validated feeds, fortified feeds for finishing diets of aquaculture that we have validated for the 4 most relevant fish species: sea bream, carp, trout, and salmon. And these feeds consist in incorporating natural ingredients from natural sources like macroalgae that have high levels of iodine, yeast with high levels of selenium, and also microalgae and byproducts of the salmon industry that have high levels of EPA and DHA, of omega-3 fatty acids. And the integration of these ingredients led to feeds with high levels of these nutrients that are lacking in the population. And at the end of the 3 months of the finishing diet application, we have come up with fillets with high levels of these nutrients that can be used and certainly will be available in the near future in our supermarket shelves for consumption of seafood and to ensure of consumers, and to ensure that they have the right levels of nutrients. We have also validated a strategy of the best conditions of culturing macroalgae and also fish in a multi-trophic way in the same place where these conditions can lead to the highest productivity of these two farmed species. We have also validated a concept. So I will continue. Probably we have bad connection. So basically, in terms of the production of the shellfish production areas, the buffer zones enable to reduce the economic burdens for the sector. And we have also validated three different sets of fast screening tools for multi-contaminants for in terms of cyanobiotics and regulated marine toxins, and that you will hear today as well. Concerning seafood processing, we have validated a concept where we reduce by 25% the use of sodium chloride, salt, normal salt, in the processing industry to produce smoked fish and fish pate, and in this way to help consumers to decrease the intake of sodium that can hamper their health. In parallel, we have created new seafood-based meals that are tailor-made, that were designed specifically for specific segments of the population. You will hear today as well, where we involved the culinary schools from 6 European countries, where we challenge them to produce recipes that could cover the nutritional needs of pregnant women, elderly people, and children, and also that could use sustainable species, seafood species, and that could be used by the catering industry, so have a low cost. You will hear about this, and we have validated in a contest these meals, and they were industrially produced as well. Concerning the strategies to reduce the levels of contaminants, we have validated 3 different strategies. One that you will hear today, that was created by ANFACO, thermal processing to reduce the levels of PSP toxins in shellfish. The second one, which was the use of listeria-phages to reduce the levels of listeria in ready-to-eat fish. And finally, the use of depuration to reduce the levels of norovirus in oysters. You will also hear about this today in terms of one of the main bottlenecks of the seafood processing industry, the expenditure in energy and water, and how which strategies can be used to reduce these bills by the companies for drying and pasteurization. You will also hear about this today. Some of the technologies are here shown. Concerning both processing and the production sectors, we have also created a reference database and a gene bank with reference material to ensure that everywhere in the world that there is a need to perform a test of authenticity of seafood that we are eating, that we have the reference material to provide for the diversity of species. We have also validated a fast screening DNA authentication tool that is able to distinguish the different species that can be sold as salmon, but also as cod. This has been validated. Another tool that we'll hear today is it's a great innovation for the seafood sector. It's an automated traceability tool that where you can at any moment of the trade chain, we can trace back to the origin and collect all the information related to a batch, to a product that we are seeing in our supermarkets, and this can be done from the consumer side as well. It is available online, but also in an app. You will hear about this. Also, another tool that has evolved from a previous tool that we have developed in a previous EU-funded project, it is Fish Choice. This tool is a risk-benefit communication tool that can be used by consumers, but also by health professionals in order to guide their choices in terms of seafood consumption. The selection is done by the software in terms of the best nutritional quality, the use or the preferential use of sustainably produced species and those species that have low levels of contaminants. So this is a dynamic tool where we can select all the different items in order to see which is the best species that we eat and if we are on the safe side or not. This is the link for this fish choice tool. You can it's free available. You can enter and you can explore this tool. It's quite useful for consumers and for the society in general. We have also launched in the project the basis for the benchmark for the quality certification of seafood. This is quite innovative because so far there is no quality certification and it can be linked to a QR code with a quality labeling that you see in this picture, where the companies that have this label the consumers are sure that they are certified with specific parameters, and in the label you can find a QR code where you can also link to the traceability tool in order to get all the information from the product and even additional information like recipes. So this is quite useful. And finally, an e-learning tool. We have developed an e-learning tool, and which is quite important nowadays with the pandemic. We have been forced to use the internet, even with this demonstration workshop. And the e-learning can be a solution for the companies to train their staff in terms of the different needs that they have. We have created this tool. It's in this link. It's still in the test phase, so we will disclose in the end of March this tool, where it's an interactive tool. You have different material like videos, PowerPoint quizzes as well, where you the user is trained for the different topics that the project addressed here. Now I am going to show you a small video about what the project is all about that was prepared by our communication responsible equity team. And then I will Okay, and that's it. I would like before I close and we go for the demonstration of different solutions. I would like to invite you all to attend the final online event that will take place in the 15th of April of this project. Details will be announced soon at the project website that you can see in the bottom. If you have any additional question after this demonstration, please contact us. We are more than welcome to deliver the solutions to the industry and so that you can use in your daily activities. Thank you very much for your time.